Hello guys. Today I'm doing a very in-depth breeding guide for Pokémon Sword Shield because, the game has come out, we've had some time to digest it, and many people are probably beginning to, want to build competitive teams. And breeding in this game is probably the easiest I'm not going to say it's ever been, because it's actually about the same as it was in Ultra Sun and Moon, but it's actually pretty darn easy when you understand the processes of it. And the good thing about this game is that you can pretty easily also get good Pokemon to start with, which is something you had to grind very hard to get good Pokemon earlier from the get-go. But we're going back to the complete basics. In Pokémon Sword Shield, there is 2 nurseries. This is the one that I'm at here at Route 5. There's also one in Bridgefield in the wild areas. Use whichever one you want. Is pure preference. I think the Route 5 is a bit easier. Like, you can go back and forth, like, it's super casual, super annoying, and you get tired of the route, but it's a bit easier to, handle. You don't have the camera that you need to shift. So, that's that. And before you also begin breeding, there are some items that you need to understand how to use to make your life a lot more easy. So, if we go into my box here, I prepared a little box. I'm not on the right screen. Woo! You can see my Ditto here is holding an Everstone. The Everstone passes down the nature of the Pokemon holding it to any offspring, which is super convenient because you obviously want to be able to control the nature of the Pokemon that you get, at least if you care about them being good competitively. Another item is the Destiny Knot, which you can see my Dreepy has holding. The Destiny Knot passes down a total of 5 IVs from the 2 parents, so it will take 2 IVs from one parent and 3 from the other and give those to the offspring. And that obviously means that you can get that's how you get Pokemon that has good IVs. If you have we'll go back to that, how it uses. The last thing that you may find yourself needing, it's not necessarily something that you need right away, but it's very good if you are breeding for example, Trick Room. Because that is the power anklet, and the thing about the power anklet is that it passes down the specific, IV of the speed stat. And this Ditto, it has no good speed. So when this thing has the power anklet on breeding of something, it means that the offspring will have a no good speed too, which is very useful for the Trick Room. Now, I already told how the Everstone can, affect the nature. Obviously, it can help you get the exact nature that you want. Because otherwise, it actually, if you don't have an Everstone, it just chooses randomly between natures. It's pure luck, and, that can be pretty annoying. You don't want to deal with that. Another thing you can also do to make your breeding easier, at least if you're not going for a Pokemon that has a hidden ability, then you can't do it. But if you're just going for a normal Pokemon that you can find in the wild, having a Pokemon with Synchronize that has the nature that you want can be very useful because you can go out, have the synchronized Pokemon in the front of your party, find the Pokemon that you want, lead it, go into battle with it, and catch it, and it'll actually have the nature that you want right from the get-go. So if you have a really good Ditto, but it doesn't have a good nature, you already have the nature you want, so you can just go right away and put on the Everstone on the Pokemon that you caught and the Destiny Knot on the Ditto and be pretty good off. Now, I'd say there are 2 processes for breeding Pokemon that you can use. The first one is that you use a Ditto, because obviously if you have a very good Ditto, you can breed it with basically everything that is in a legendary, Valley, or Ditto itself, because you can't breed Dittos. So you can breed with genderless Pokemon, so you can breed Rotoms, and you can breed Dreepies, you can breed Rufflets and Wallabies, and you can breed basically every single thing with a Ditto, which is super convenient. As long as you have a good Ditto. At least 4 IVs. But if you don't have that, but let's say you still have a Pokemon that actually has perfect IVs, and it's male, you can go in and check what egg group that Pokemon is in. So we are in Cerebi now, we're looking at wanting to breed a Rapidash, for example. We go down and we see that, egg group. That's basically everything within an egg group can breed with each other. So we can go in and look at this. And we can see that, we have Rapidash right here. We remove the commercial because, not sponsored. And we just scroll down. We see the Weavile shares the same egg group with Rapidash. So let's pretend that our little Weavile here has 5 perfect IVs. I can actually breed it with my Rapidash instead of the Ditto, because in the same egg group, as long as this thing is male. And, get quicker to get some good IVs. And last thing you can also do is, if you actually have 2 Pokemon of the exact same, let's say that I had a female and a male Dreepy, I can also just breed those 2, obviously. That makes perfect sense, the 2 same species can breed. Now, to get good IVs, which is basically, they determine how good a Pokemon is in each stat, And they range from 0 to 31, and usually, unless you're running Trick Room, you want 31 in all the useful stats. And you can obviously do it by, as I said with the Destinod, you boost how the IVs get passed down. And a thing you can do, because let's say that you have a good Ditto. We pretend like this is a 4 IV Ditto. I want to breed a Dreepy with it. I basically just put the Ditto in, put the Dreepy in, and then you can look at the offspring that you get out. Like, take like 5 offspring. See if any one of them are better than the one that you already have, and if they are, you can just exchange that Dreepy with the new one, so that you all the time keep on, improving the Pokemon that you have in the daycare. One thing you need to remember though is, to be able to get 5 perfect IVs, those 5 IVs that you want, they need to be represented in at least one of the parents. So if we go down and look here, for example, we can see this Rapidash, it does not have perfect defense and special defense. So to be able to get a perfect Rapidash with the 5 IVs that I want, which is basically everything but special attack, I need to make sure that the male or the Ditto I'm breeding with has those 2 stats. So for example, for Weavile, we can actually see that it does have those 2, so these could actually make a 5 IV offspring at some point, which is, that's pretty convenient. And obviously you need to have the IV checker so you can check it, which you get through the battle summer. I think you have to get through like 6 battles, then you battle Leon, and then you get it afterwards. Now, there are different ways where you can increase the rate of X that you get, so that you can get X faster, and therefore also get the Pokemon that you want faster. The first thing that you need is probably the Oval Charm, which you get in Chichester from one of the NPCs. He looks like a cop. I think he's in one of the hotels in Chichester. When you get that, it means that you will get X more fast. Another thing you can also do is use Pokemon from 2 different OTs. So a Pokemon that you have, and a Pokemon that you got in, for example, through Surprise Ray. Like here you can say, this is a German Ditto, this is not. These 2 definitely have different OTs, therefore they will make offspring faster. Lastly, of course, if you use Pokemon of the same species, so if I use 2 Dreevies, that would also make the X come faster, because they are of the same species, hence they breed a lot faster. So the fastest you can ever get is having the Oval Charm, 2 of the same species breeding from different OTs. Like that's the absolutely fastest you can get new Pokemon. Now going into hatching time, there are some abilities that can actually help you, because every Pokemon, if we go into the interwebs and we remove the commercial again, there's so many commercials. You can see that here we have the base egg steps. That's basically how many steps you need to take for the egg to hatch. And obviously 5,000, that's quite a bit. And if you go into something like Eevee, you're going to get an ugly surprise. Because Eevee is like almost 9,000 steps. Now, there are, if I can remove it again, there are 3 abilities, I believe, that can help you shortening. One of them is Flame Body, which you can get. You can get it in Centiskorch, you can get it in Colossal, you can probably also get it in something else. And the Steam Engine, I also believe, does it, like it's new, but I think it also does it. Don't quote me on it, you can probably Google it. And Magma Armor, I don't know which Pokemon we have that even get Magma Armor now, but I think these 3 abilities, they can shorten the, they actually half the X cycle. So instead of having to take 9,000 steps with the Eevee, you only have to take 4,500. And Eevee is one of those that takes the most, so And some others, like Magikarp, takes almost nothing. Like, I don't remember how much it is. Let's see how much it is. Because Magikarp is known for being very short, which was why back in last generation, the X were already predetermined, actually. You can see 1,200. That's nothing. Magikarp was often used for swap breeding, which we'll not go into because it does not exist any longer in this game. So we'll not cross that bridge. So yes, that's how you can shorten the breeding time. Now, obviously, something that's very important when breeding is also the abilities. And especially hidden abilities are a bit tricky because the Pokemon needs to have special, or its hidden ability right away, because you can't get it on afterwards. You can't ability capsule a special. Why do I keep counting a special ability? A hidden ability. You can't ability capsule it afterwards. Like, you can do it for regular abilities. You can, use the ability capture. You don't want to do that, it's pretty expensive. You should prefer to have the right ability right away. But obviously, you need to have one of the parents have, like, not just one of the parents, you need the female or the Pokemon breeding with the Ditto. They need to have the special ability. Ditto cannot pass anything but its IVs down. So I could have had an imposter Ditto, and it will not result in... It will not make my offspring have a hidden ability if the Pokemon I'm breeding with the Ditto does not have it. The same here. Now, like Rapidash, it has Spatial Wheel. If I wanted to have Anticipation, it would not help that my Weaver here has a special ability. I need to have it on the Pokemon that we're actually trying to breed. So for example, this thing here, it already has its hidden ability. We breed with a Ditto. And, from what I understand, I'm not sure it's still the same in this game, but in last generation, female Pokemon breeding with a Ditto had an 80% chance to pass down the hidden ability, while males and genderless were 60%. I don't know if it's still the exact same, but it's probably around that. And I also think if you bred two of the same kinds with each other, and it's the same if you, like, for this combination, it'll also be the same. If it's two of the same species, and the male, I don't think can pass it down, otherwise, like, the chance is super low. And the female, I think, is 80% in that case, too. So, good to know, because you'll want to make sure that you get it. As for egg moves, obviously all Pokemon have egg moves. Let's just go in and look at Rapidash again, because Rapidash is such a great example. We're actually on Magikarp. Let's just go back on Rapidash. Good old Rapidash. We can go down here and we scroll all the way down, all the way. We see them here. So let's say we want Morning Sun. You can click in on details. And you can go and see that you want the one that gets a full level up, which is a Espeon. So if you breed your female Rapidash opponent with an Espeon, and you make sure that you have a free move slot that's not like controlled by any other egg moves on your parent Pokemon, on the Rapidash, you will get Morning Sun down on the offspring, as long as the Espeon actually knows it. Like, it needs to know it. It's not enough that it learns it. It needs to actually have it on the moveset. That's how you can get it. Another thing they also introduced in this game is that if you have a Pokemon afterwards that has a hidden ability, you should be able to actually transfer it on already existing Pokemon, which is super convenient, because I many a time stood suddenly with the Pokemon where I really needed an egg move and didn't, and you had to breed like complete from scratch. That was super annoying. You don't need to do that anymore. You can get it on later, which is, again, very convenient. Now, the last thing I don't think that I've covered is how to increase the shiny chance, because obviously breeding is, in this game, the best way to get shinies. Like, it has the best odds, because I think if you have the shiny charm and you use something called the Masuda method, it's like a 1 in 512-ish chance that you get a shiny. And the Masuda method it's very simple. You breed a Pokemon with a Pokemon from another game. So if I breed these two, and since I have a shiny charm, I will have a 1 in 512 chance of getting a shiny offspring. So it's that simple. And I think that should basically cover everything. If there's anything that I missed, or things that you're in doubt of, do feel free to leave a comment. I will answer it as soon as I see it. But with that, thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, keep it cool. Bye.